Okay, so I want to welcome you back for second week, video number 2. What we talked about yesterday, just to summarize real quick, is the importance of having a good understanding of where you are now compared to where it is you want to go, so that we can create a roadmap to success that makes sense of where you are, not where a friend is, or maybe someone you've known who's had success in the past getting on a program of some sort. It's really based on where you are and not comparing yourself to other people. Because not everybody wants to have the best body they've ever had. Not everyone wants to be ripped when they walked on the beach. For some of us, it can be as simple as, I just want to improve my general health, want to improve my health markers. I'd like to be able to wear clothes that actually look good on me and the things that I feel best in, instead of just that section in the closet that fits. Along with that, it's being able to have your pant size come down a little bit. I mean, it's amazing what can happen in a short amount of time. So, as we discussed last week, the most important component of that is actually having an understanding, a clear understanding and expectation of what gets measured, gets managed. I'm going to introduce a second one into it for this week right now, and it's going to be about separating the data from the drama. Too many times when we start looking at numbers, especially if you're in the finance world or if you're in some type of business where the numbers are really important, we get so stuck on bottom line growth, right? That we sometimes can miss the small nuanced changes. Like, just because the scale doesn't go down, it doesn't mean that there's not positive change that's happening. Oftentimes what happens is you start to see it in your clothes. All of a sudden you go from having that last notch on your belt that you're using whenever you cinch your belt to now you have 2. And then eventually you have 3, and then eventually you have that overhang. Those aren't always represented as well as they could be just by bottom line weight loss. And that's an important distinction here. And so what we're talking about now is we're separating the data from the drama and the emotional component of it. Because we're looking at this like your body's business, just like you look at your business whenever you're at work. There's certain things you expect, certain things you know are going to happen if you continue down the path you're on now, and certain things that should change or improve based on small habit change in your business. Your physical self, your health, your emotional stability, all of that is very, very similar, and that's why we're trying to use these as examples. So in week 1, one of the things we looked at was actual food pictures. We just wanted to know what your normal intake looks like. We also wanted to know what the pictures of you look like right now, and then I wanted you to do a scorecard. So I got you to do a Health Life scorecard, and basically it's taking 4 F's: family, fitness, finances, and faith in yourself, and each one of them has 10 subcategories, so we have 40 to choose from. And then out of those 40, we take the 3 most important to you that you want to work on over the 5 weeks. And then we put a plan together based on that. So now picking it up in week 2, how do we take that same minimize the change, maximize the return, going faster, not harder? It's simple. So after we have an understanding of what your food intake looks like, where it is currently, then what we start doing is we start focusing on what could breakfast look like. And what you do is you take pictures of the breakfast you eat for 3 or 4 days, and then when we get on our call, we talk about that. And we talk about different ways that maybe it can be enhanced or improved. And interesting enough, more times than not, it's really about adding more into it than it is taking away. That's one of the most amazing things that happens as we start to become more aware of what we're putting in our body and what we're doing throughout the day, and in many cases, how we're thinking and processing throughout the day. Because so much of what we do now is on autopilot. We don't have to think about it. You set your alarm, your coffee's waiting for you in the morning, you get up, you get dressed, you read the paper, get the kids off to school, depending on what that looks like right now, hop in your car and go. And even crazier times now, during the pandemic, if it turns out that you're working from home, you have even less separation. And incredibly enough, you have less autonomy. And oftentimes what happens is we start to lose ourselves through the process, because we have this hat where we have one on at work, we have one on with the family, you have one on whenever you're talking to friends, and then you have a hat that you put on whenever you look in the mirror and you have those conversations with yourself. And it's important. So one of the big things we start to focus on in week 2 is we start getting a really good understanding of where you are from your food intake and what does it look like in breakfast. So we just break breakfast down only. And then we talk about that on the call. And then we start looking at activity. What have you done this week compared to last week? And what do you think you're capable of? And then we formulate a plan around that. And then the big one, the big takeaway from this is when we start to figure out what's been lost, how we've lost our identity, we have to have an understanding of who are you. So I've got an actual brain exercise, I call it, and it's really just an awareness exercise, and it's simple. What I do is I send it to you, it comes in through the software, it's got 13 questions, and it creates an outline, a short form outline of who you are based on how you respond to these answers. And then what you do is you put together a little small summary paragraph of who you are. Oftentimes, it's some of the biggest discovery points that comes out, and then it gives us something to talk about when we're on a Zoom call. Because again, this is about awareness. This is about more than just the scale moving 1 or 2 or 3 pounds. For most of us, it opens up the door to what next is. It opens up the door to how do we end the burnout? Because that's what this whole group is about. It's about ending the burnout. And the people that are the most successful when they start to work with me are the people who lean into and embrace this new approach to what they thought they needed to do a long time ago. Everyone comes in thinking, okay, we're going to talk about diet. We're going to talk about exercise, and we're going to talk about how I need to increase my weights or I need to have more activity. Yes, that's all stuff that can come in the future. But as you'll see with the testimonial at the end of this, a whole lot more is possible whenever you kind of lean into this uncertainty in this new area, because this is where the next level in your growth is going to take place. It's not going to take place in the gym. It's not going to take place in front of a Peloton bike. All of those become one part of an ingredient list that helps us create this incredible plan for you. So that's the big thing to remember with this. We're going to separate the data from the drama. We're going to start to measure little small things each week. As I said in the first video, I'm going to give you all the answers to everything you think you're ready to hear, because this is all you need to know right now. We can discover more of who you are personally and what it is I need to help put together based on where you are, based on those data points at some point in the future. Below this, like before, there's going to be a link to my calendar. You can click on it at any time. You can turn around and you can book a time that fits in your schedule. It's going to fit in mine as well. And we'll book out a 10-minute call. There's not going to be any sales process. Literally, it's just you and I talking, finding out more about each other, and seeing if what I do is a good fit for you, and if what I'm doing and what you need is a good fit for what I do. Because it's a two-way street there. It's kind of like a two-way interview process right there. And I think that's important, because this is not just about bringing on every single person, because I am a one-person show. You'll talk to me on the phone. I'll be the person who delivers all of the deliverables to you. It's not going to be me and my team or a bunch of people that I've tried to clone to be me. What you're paying for whenever you and I work together is you're investing in me, and I'm putting my time back into that area. So I look forward to seeing you on the next video. If there's something you need, you can always reach out. We'll set up that calendar and we'll book a time to get together. Have a fantastic day. Talk soon.